Hey everybody, welcome back. It seems like people these days are super skeptical of opinion polls, especially if they don't like the results. Is this mistrust justified? Smash that like button and let's find out. Remember, this unit is called American Political Ideologies and Beliefs. These lessons are all about how political scientists try to measure people's beliefs. The primary method is through scientifically valid polls. So let's start by talking about polling methodology and elements of scientific polls. First, the sample must be random. In other words, everybody in the population must have an equal chance of being selected. Think of like a random number generator or something like that. This means that you can't allow people to select themselves to participate, as that's not random. That's a good start, but the sample also needs to be stratified, meaning that the population is divided into subgroups and weighted based on the demographics of the population. Okay, hooray words, but what does that mean? Let's say you want to measure opinion of students at your school. If seniors are 22% of the school population, then they should be 22% of your sample. Your poll shouldn't over or undersample certain groups, otherwise this will negatively impact the validity of the poll. We're thinking here of things like race, gender, party affiliation, education level, income, age, location. They should each be the same proportion of the sample that they are of the population. Now, even if you've done everything properly, your poll will still contain a sampling error. That's because you only polled a sample of the population. You didn't ask everybody. So some of your results may be the result of chance variation, meaning that if you did everything the exact same way again, the results might be slightly different. A sample size of 1,000 people is considered scientifically valid, and a sampling error of plus or minus 3% is generally acceptable. But this means that the results of the poll could be 3 percentage points higher or lower than what's indicated. Any scientific poll will report a sampling error. This is something that contributes to its validity. Additionally, keep in mind that the wording of the question must be neutral, clear, and unbiased, as any effort to push respondents towards a specific response makes the poll invalid. And if people don't understand the question, the results aren't valid either. Additionally, the question needs to be framed neutrally, which isn't just the wording of the question. It can be about the surrounding questions on the survey. For example, let's say that a pollster wants to find out if people support drilling for oil in a wildlife refuge. Even if that question is neutral, pollsters could manipulate respondents. For example, if the first 10 questions were about the environment and animals, they've primed the respondent to answer in opposition to drilling. On the other hand, if the first 10 questions were about high gas prices and economic problems, they've primed respondents to answer in support of drilling. The type and format of questions and answer choices matters. For example, if the question is open-ended or multiple choice or ranked choice, etc., all these things will affect the results. Lastly, the results must be accurately reported, should be clear to understand, and should only draw conclusions that can be supported by the data. This is typically a bigger problem with the media sources than with pollsters themselves. It's very easy to report poll results and make stronger assertions about public opinion than the data support. Okay, so let's switch gears and discuss 4 types of scientific polls. Each of these can be placed in the broad category of mass surveys. We're talking about interviewing or polling a large sample of the population, typically contacting them via phone or sometimes internet these days. First up, opinion polls, which are delightfully self-defining since they are used to measure, you guessed it, opinion on some issue. Let's say we wanted to know how people feel about legalizing marijuana. This is the poll that we would conduct. By the way, remember that people's opinions change over time. So a poll showing that people opposed marijuana legalization way back when dinosaurs roamed the earth in 1970 isn't relevant to policy discussions today. A tracking poll is a continuous poll used to chart changes in opinion over time. It asks the same question every time, such as about presidential approval or perhaps who you plan to vote for, and it may even contact the same people, and then it just tracks the changes in their response to that question over time. When you hear that the president's approval rating is up or down 4 points since last month, this is the kind of poll being discussed. Benchmark polls are typically conducted by a candidate before they've officially announced their candidacy. This is one of the first things that they might do to find out where they stand with the public before any campaigning. They can gather information such as the strengths and weaknesses of a candidate, find out if people have even heard of them, what they associate with that person, which demographic groups have more favorable attitudes towards them, that kind of stuff. Whereas the first 3 are most likely contacting people via the phone or internet, Exit polls are done in person, interviewing people as they exit the polling place on election day. They're trying to gain insight into voting behavior to help campaigns and media organizations predict the outcome of the election before the votes have been counted. They're trying to figure out which demographic groups showed up and voted, and what the key factors affecting voter choice were in the election, and these insights help them project the result before all the votes have been counted. In contrast to these types of polls or mass surveys, campaigns sometimes use focus groups to gather a small number of voters and lead an in-depth discussion about a candidate to determine how people feel about her. It's like a brainstorming session on steroids, where participants openly discuss their thoughts and feelings about a candidate or an issue. Super detailed insights? Absolutely. Scientifically valid? Not so much. Topic 4.6 is called Evaluation of Public Opinion Data, and to be honest, this section is less about learning content and more about you feeling comfortable analyzing polling data in charts, graphs, and infographic form. Check out the Ultimate Review Packet for great practice questions. The other main idea of this section is asking, can we trust polls? Are they reliable? Polling methods have changed significantly since 2016. Pollsters are far less reliant on live phone polling, since many households only have cell phones and either block or simply don't answer calls from pollsters. Online opt-in, probability-based paneling, and even texting have grown significantly. And most pollsters now use more than one contact method. Lastly, let's talk about reliability and veracity. Reliability ensures we get consistent, repeatable results. If the poll was properly done, we should get very similar results if we immediately redid the poll, all other things equal. And veracity refers to the accuracy of the data. It's not enough for the results to be consistent, we want them to be accurate. For example, do they accurately predict election outcomes or not? Alright, well, it's a wrap for this one. Until next time, this has been a Money production. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate you so much. You the real MVP. If you can help me out with that like button or tell friends about my channel, I appreciate it. Check out the Ultimate Review Packet, and I will see you in the next video.